Welcome back. Stasa23 here, back again with some knife therapy. And I was at my local shop the other day and saw these mini sheepdogs in the case. And I'd handled them already at blade shows, so hey, I decided to pick one up. So like I said, this is the Kizer Knives Mini Sheepdog. Comes in right around $69 at Blade HQ and Amazon. This is part of their Vanguard series. I guess it's their middle of the road series. They have their titanium models, they have their Vanguard, and now they have their Tangram models, which are the cheapest of all. But let's kind of get into this real quick. The maker of this designer is Chris Conway of SheepDog Knives. And let's go in through some specs real quick. It's a pretty small knife. You got an overall length of 6 3/16 inches. You have a blade length of 2 5/8 inches. You have a cutting edge of 2.5 inches. You have a handle length of 3.5 inches. You have a grip area of 3 inches. You have a blade stock thickness of 0.110 inches. You have a thickness in this department of 0.45 inches, so a little slimmer than average. Your width is pretty wide. It's coming in at 1.44 inches wide. The thickness behind the thinnest portion of the edge is 0.022, which is fairly good, especially being that you have this high flat grind saber ground blade. You know, that's usually the length, the height of most full flat ground blades. And let's dive into this up close. You have this cleaver sheep's footish blade. You have these nice swedges, and I like how you have this little notch that separates the two swedges. Just nicely done there. You have a nice satin finish on the bevels and the flats. You have a good bit of billboarding. You have the Kizer logo. You have the blade steel, which is VG10. There's the model number, I guess. Flip it over. You have the SheepDog logo, and maybe that's the model number. I don't know. And you see this right here. This does not come with the knife. This is one of them quick studs that you screw on there. I like to add versatility to my knives, make them look a little different, and I'm giving it a shot. Look right here. You do have a perfectly executed sharpening notch. Love to see that. No wonky grinds. Everything's nice and even. There you go. My dog's trying to act up already, so let's see if I can get through this without him going crazy. Let's close this guy up. You got a pretty fat flipper tab there. Allows you to get a good light switch action, and you can get it out even better with a push button motion. When it's open, you see there is no jimping up here, but you do have a decently wide flat up there to put your thumb down if you didn't have this quick stud. Probably should have took that off for the video. One thing I did notice that this guy came pretty darn sharp out of box. I have cut up some boxes with it, but I have stropped it up. Let's see how it does. It's one thing. Let's see. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, that's nice. Oh yeah. So it's one thing that I do, you know, VG10 is not my first blade steel of choice, but for a budget steel, I don't mind it, mainly because it holds a decent edge, especially if you put a proper edge on it. It will hold it for adequate amount of time for most anybody's EDC task. And like I said, one thing that I like about it the most is it's very easy to strop it back up to a very, very keen edge. That's one thing about VG10. It was made as a cutlery steel and like kitchen knives and stuff, and it takes a very, very keen edge. Also, if I can't get it sharp with just dropping it back, I can do a few swipes with my Spyderco Sharp Maker and it gets it back to hair popping sharp. So that's always a plus. You know, that's a trade-off between your higher end steels or, you know, your budget steels or your middle road steels. Usually your higher end steels can be harder to sharpen, harder to maintain, depending on what type of skills you have and what kind of systems you use to sharpen your knives. Let's get into the rest of the knife. You have a peel ply G10 scales, and the texture on it is, I call it moderate. It's definitely not like grippy like Spyderco's. I don't know what to compare it to. I'm trying to see if I have anything around here. Kind of like if you ever felt the G10, carbon fiber G10 laminate Spyderco does. That's kind of how it feels to me. You have a T8 Torx T6 body screws with this blue pivot collar going around there. You also have a nice chamfer going around the whole entire the edges of the scales. I like the little 3 milled lines there. It's a nice added touch. You have a completely flow-through construction with 2 hourglass standoffs, nicely done. You have stainless steel liners, and if you can see up top, you do have lightning holes on the show side only. Let's check out the balance point on this guy. Perfect balance point. I love, love, love seeing that, especially when you have a small knife like this. You know, your balance point, if it's handle heavy or blade heavy, it's, you know, it's already a 3-finger grip, and you don't want it to be forward or back. So a nice, look at that, see, nice perfect balance. Makes the knife feel lighter, and it keeps it in the hand better. Oh, let's see. You have just a regular stainless steel bent folded pocket clip. Let's see if I can show you what it looks like in pocket. This thing is pretty wide. I don't know if it's going to fit in my simulated pockets, but I will definitely give it a shot. Let's see. Having trouble there. There you go. So it buries pretty deep into the pocket, not much sticking out, gives you enough to pull it out of the pocket. And let's see if I can get it in this slanted pocket for you, those of you who wear slacks and stuff like that. There you go. Just about the same. Allows you to get it out of the pocket fairly easily. Action on this guy is really nice. It's riding on, I'm pretty sure, ceramic bearings and a ceramic detent. I like having that thumb stud so I can deploy it slowly if I want to. Whip it out like that. I can Spidey flick it. Just gives me extra means of opening up this knife. Let's see how much this guy weighs, being that it's a 6 3/16 inch knife. 3.31 ounces. That's coming in a little bit on the heavy side for such a small knife, but it's definitely not going to bother me any. Let's see if I touched on everything. Like I said, the ergos, I'm getting a 3-finger grip, but you got this nice pinch area with this nice deep choil right there. So I lock in pretty well. My fingers are kind of floating off there, but I was doing some pressure cuts down into some cardboard. It sliced really nicely, and I was able to get a solid enough grip. Didn't feel like it was going to come out of my hands or anything. Let's get some quick size comparisons, and I will let you guys go. Here's another knife that's very close in size, if not identical. This is the CRKT Batum. Yeah, I think they're exactly the same size. Same size in length and good, almost same size in this area too. Another one, Spyderco Techno, except this one's a good bit more expensive than this guy. So Techno's a little bit smaller in length and width. Another one that comes in a good bit cheaper, CRKT Polar. depending on which one you get. This is the 8CR version. My 12C version is closer to the same price point. Let's see, got the Spyderco Pingo. Pingo is a good bit smaller. Got the DPX Gearhest Urban. The Urban's a good bit bigger. And one more last one just because it's here. The Boker, I think Thai Blue, or I don't know, Thai Blues or something like that. These two are pretty much identical in length, and it dwarfs it in width. Look at that, you could fit the whole knife inside of it. So there you go. I forgot to show in the beginning, they've kind of changed up their packaging. You get this box that comes in this, like, it has a little spot, little plastic thing for the knife, and this little envelope that houses this little envelope with the cleaning cloth. And what does it say? Passion, Pride, Performance. There you go. And then also you get this little pause and read pamphlet. There you go. And then just some of their production pictures. Pretty cool. Always like their packaging. They do a good job of it. And also this knife came with this. I don't know if all their newer Vanguards come with a patch or just the SheepDog, but I thought this was pretty cool. Always like getting patches. Very, very neat. All right, so let's get into a few of the nitpicks that I had about this knife. First off, this flipper tab. It's just a beast of a flipper tab. I mean, I don't mind. The height's good, but it's so wide. Definitely could have shaved off about, that much. I don't know, maybe it would have changed up the aesthetic some, but just it looks funny. And also, I guess you could have added a little jimping to it, even though it sits up high enough that I get a good light switch and a good push button. Not really that big of a deal, but the flipper tab does look a little wonky. Maybe, I guess they kept it that wide because, matching up with this side. I don't know. I'm not a designer. I'm just a nitpicker. Also, I'm not a lanyard fan, but in a small 3-finger knife like this, I definitely see a use in a lanyard, because if I would have had a lanyard, I could have had something else, like tied a knot to where I could have held on to it or put it around my pinky just to give it some added grip, so I didn't feel like, there was any chance of it coming out of my hand. Like I said, you do get a good purchase on it, and I don't think it would come out of my hand, but it's just some added security, something they could have added on this guy. Put a little post back here. I guess you could tie it around one of those standoffs. Let's see. I talked about the flipper tab. Okay. And this also could be, a gripe that is only bothering me. Something I would like to know if you own the SheepDog, if you find it a problem. But the recess they have right here, it doesn't, I don't know if it's just not adequate enough, or the lock bar pressure is a little strong. But I'm having to, and you have that chamfer on the lock bar, which is usually a good thing, but it's kind of smooth, so my finger wants to kind of slide off of it. So I'm having to bury the fat of my finger down into it to disengage the lock. And I can disengage that lock every single time, but I find it somewhat uncomfortable after I've been doing it for a while. I don't know. Like I said, if somebody else has this knife, and let me know what y'all think about that. If y'all have any issues with the lock bar, I'd definitely like to hear about it. And one more last thing, this knife I think could have definitely used the detent ball ramp, because whenever I get the knife right there, I see it just wants to pop back up like that. Usually where you knock it down, it's not clearing that detent all the way, and then I'm having to push it. that's something that just bugs the crap out of me. It kills my OCD tendencies. So as long if I hurry up and get that thumb out of the way, I'm good. But if I just come like that, it just wants to pop back up. See, it hasn't cleared that detent. Not the end of the world. The knife still functions. Just something that could be changed pretty easily, and it makes it a little bit safer. You come off there and you didn't realize you're on that detent, and you go to close it, and when you're pushing like this, you have pressure come flying out your hand. I've had it done to me before. What y'all think about this stud? I like it. I almost thought about adding a permanent one. I haven't decided on that yet. I figured this one blends pretty well. I love having that extra fidgetability factor that I know we all love. Y'all don't lie. Y'all like that. So there you go. Let me know what you think about this knife. Let me know what you think about the price of this knife. Do you think $69 is too high? Especially now that there's so many great budget knives that are in D2 steel in the $50 and under price category. I don't know. I don't really know how I feel about it. There are definitely some better values out there, but if you like the design, the VG10, it's not bad. It's more than adequate still. This is a cool, different. I don't have anything else in my collection that looks anything like this. So there you go. That's my thoughts. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Share it with all your friends and family and your social networks. If you like my videos in general, hit that subscribe button. While you're at it, hit that bell button so you don't miss a thing. I'm getting close to 2,000 subscribers, and when I do, I'm going to have a cool giveaway, and you don't want to miss it. All right, guys and girls, I hope everybody's having a good one. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.